General Rate Act, yeah, I know about it, but it's not an operational tool for me. I'm not.
What about the Rating and Valuation Act?
Yeah, I know about them, yeah.
Are you aware that it is the responsibility of the minister or the Ministry for Lands to provide or to appoint a valuation officer?
To appoint, yes.
Do you have valuation officers that have been appointed by the ministry?
Yes.
Really? Where are they stationed?
The valuation officer for the Valuer General is the Director of Lands and Surveys.
Are you aware that the valuation officer, or in this case perhaps the Director of Lands and Surveys, is required by the Act to carry out a valuation of all the properties within all the different area councils?
Exactly.
Do you know if such a valuation was prepared recently?
Recently, no.
Are you aware that such a valuation is supposed to be prepared every 5 years?
Exactly.
Is it conducted every 5 years?
No.
Are you aware that it is based on the valuation prepared by the said valuation officer that the area councils are able to charge rates on properties within their jurisdiction?
Yes, they will determine rate based on the parameters obtained from the valuation, yes.
So if no valuation report has been prepared or updated, the area councils are obligated to use the last valuation report that was prepared.
Yeah, the one available, yes.
So it is very likely that the area councils have been undercharging for rates because the value of properties keep going up.
Exactly.
And is your ministry in a position, or is your ministry willing to do anything to ensure that this problem is remedied?
Yes, and to an extent the ministry has done something. The government of the Gambia secured the service of a valuer through the UN system. This is a chartered valuer who was stationed at the Department of Lands and Surveys. And considering the capacity gap, the ministry requested from councils, each council to send 2 officers to be trained on valuation, so that the capacity will be built at their level, so that it will support the process. And this was done. And they were trained, and then they were given certificates in terms of the satisfaction of their level in terms of valuation. This was done at each council. Each council has about 2 people trained as valuers. Considering the capacity gap at the Department of Lands and Surveys at the valuation unit, we propose to the councils that these valuation officers trained at each of the councils should team up to be led by staff appointed by the Valuer General to conduct valuation for each area council. This was agreed in principle, but it is yet to be implemented because the councils will not be able to bring their valuers together to be able to assist the Department of Lands and Surveys to do the valuation for their properties and revaluation of their properties, to enable them to bring up new rates.
The councils are not able to bring their valuers together, but are they not, is each council not able to meet with the valuation officer from the Department of Lands instead of trying to get all of them together?
Yes, considering the coverage of each council and the workload, this has not been done for a long time. we feel that if councils can come up and team up together, since these people are all trained, the work will be done faster, going from one council to another, so that within a period of 1 year, we'll have a new evaluation role that will enable councils, so that in the next 5 years, you will be able to do it for all the councils, because if not, it will be staggered in such a way that the coordination might not be easy.
But you will agree that the responsibility for this valuation role still remains with the ministry?
Definitely.
And it is correct that government premises within the various area councils are liable to pay rates?
Yes.
Has the central government been paying rates to the various area councils?
Area councils, yeah, I've seen their requests through my office to the Minister of Finance, requesting for payment of government structures within their various jurisdictions, and which central government have been paying some of the councils who requested, yes.
Do you know when was the last payment?
Until last year, there was a request from KFC, to be specific, and we engaged the Ministry of Finance, and they promised to pay, and I believe this payment was made, because the KMC have not raised the issue with me again concerning whether they have not got the money.
Now, if the said payment was actually made, would you not be copied in on any correspondence confirming payment?
No, not always. It's not always the case, because sometimes this is dealt with at the level of the ministry. The ministry will instruct the accountant general to just pay into their account. In that case, we will not be copied in that.
Mr. Kamara. Could you give us this first page? Could you please identify the file that has...
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Chairperson, I would apply to tender the said file into evidence.
Listing is 4, right? 3. The Basse Area Council Rates and Taxes file with folio number LM 9/166/03 is hereby admitted and marked LCG4.
I'm grateful. As a commission, please. Mr. Thanyang, please identify the document that has been shown to you.
The document is a letter from Basse Area Council to the Permanent Secretary for Government Properties and Demand Notes for 2022. From Basse Area Council to the Permanent Secretary for Government Properties and Demand Notes for 2022.
Could you identify the serial number and the folio number?
The folio number is 84.
And from that letter, Basse Area Council is requesting government to pay rates to the tune of 2 million odd as at February 2022. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Very well. Mr. Sanyang, please identify that file.
The file is Carnival Municipal Council Rates and Taxes.
And it is also one of your ministry's files?
Yes, with a file reference LM 109/166/01.
Thank you. Chairperson, I applied to tender the file that has just been identified.
The Carnival Municipal Council Rates and Taxes, file number LM 109/166/01, is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 5.
As a commission, please. Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
This is a letter from Carnival Municipal Council to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, concerning payment of government rates, submission of invoice for government rates and demand notes.
Could you give us the reference number and folio number, please?
The folio number is 51. The reference is KMC/01 stroke FIN in bracket 384.
Thank you. And it is correct that as at March 2023, KMC was requesting for payment of rates from the central government.
Yes.
And how much was the outstanding rate?
As per the request,
Yes.
it was 3,777,236
Very well.
for 2023.
Thank you. And you had earlier stated that you believe that those payments were made.
For 2023, that's this current year. Yes, but this letter was not addressed to me.
But it was copied to
addressed
you.
to the Minister of Finance. It was copied to me,
Very
and I instructed on my minute for my Director of Governance, who is the arm between us and the central government, to request to follow up the matter with the Ministry of Finance.
Where would these requests be filed? I'm assuming that the requests are written.
Yes, you can see the inconsistency in the request from the different councils. The one we looked at earlier from Basse Area Council was sent to the Permanent Secretary, which is the normal procedure. You write to your line ministry and then it's forwarded to the Ministry of Finance to follow up. But if you look at the KMC, they are writing to the ministry directly without going through their ministry. We are only copied. And if you are copied in the letter, you cannot act on that. You can only make administrative follow-ups.
But we have seen other letters in which you're not copied and you would request that they be written to and asked to direct the letter to who it should be directed to.
That's what I'm saying. I said, you were asking about
whether it was paid.
The payment. I said, this one we will not, because we are just copied. So based on the copy, I instruct because it's a concern to me, I'm a supervisor to the councils. I ask my Director of Governance to help follow up the issue with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance.
Very well. Are you aware if any follow-up was made in respect of that file?
This is 2023. I'm not sure whether it is paid, but I don't also expect it this because this came in just 9th of March.
Very well.
Yeah.
Please identify that file that has been shown to you.
This is Janjambure Area Council Rate and Tax with file number LM9/166/06.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
166/06 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked LCG 6.
As the Commission pleases. Mr. Stanyan, please identify the document that has been shown to you.
Sorry, Council.
Oh, I apologize.
The transcriber said the marking of the exhibit was not captured in the system. So let me go through it again.
Very well.
Can I have the file, please? The Janjambure Area Council rates and taxes file with file number LM 9/166/06 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 6.
That's the Commission, please. Sorry. Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
The document is a letter sent to the Ministry of Finance through the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands. The heading of the letter is Demand Note 2022.
Could you give us the reference number and the folio number, please?
The reference is, it should have been JAC. That part is not clear, but I think it's to be JAC, referring to Janjambure Area Council, stroke D, stroke N, stroke 28, stroke 08.
And the folio number?
Folio number 1. It should be 13.
Very well. Could you tell us what the outstanding rate amount was said to be from that letter?
The outstanding amount there is an amount of 3,563,163.86 dollars.
Thank you. Please identify that file.
This Banjul City Council rates and taxes with file reference. It is L18 stroke 116 stroke 01.
And it is your ministry's file?
Exactly.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The Banjul City Council rates and taxes file marked with file number L stroke 18 stroke 166 stroke 0 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 7.
As the Commission pleases.
Yes.
Mr. Sanyang, please identify the document that has been shown to you.
This is a letter sent to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, on a heading Payment of Rates and Taxes Due for the year 2022.
And the reference number as well as the folio number?
Unfortunately, it doesn't have a reference, but the folio number is 37.
Thank you. And from that document, it is correct that Banjul City Council is claiming for unpaid rates to the tune of about $2.6 million.
Exactly.
Very well. And again, you're not sure, but you assume that payment has been made.
Exactly. This was dated April 2022.
Thank you. Mr. Sanyang, please identify the file.
This is a file for Mansa Conco Area Council, rate and taxes.
And the file number?
File number is LM9/166/05.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The Mansa Conco Area Council Rates and Taxes file with file number LM9/166/05 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked LCG 8.
Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
This document is a letter written from my ministry on behalf of Mansa Conco Area Council to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, on Government Demand Notes 2023.
And the reference number and folio number?
The reference number is LM9/166/05. 166/05 in bracket 38, and the folio number is 37.
Thank you. And it is in respect of rates to the tune of 2.1 million.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is what has been submitted by Mr. Konko, yes.
And it is correct, is it not, that the area councils do issue demand notes to the premises owned by government within those areas?
Exactly.
Not just the letters that are sent to request payment?
Yes.
There you are. Please identify the file that has been shown to you.
This Caravan Area Council rate and taxes with file number LM9/166/02, part 3.
And it is one of your files?
Exactly.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The Caravan Area Council rates and taxes file with file number LM9/166/02 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG9.
Sorry, there is a part 3, added to the file because there will be another part. I don't know.
Thank you, PS, for the clarification. It is okay, part 3. Let me take it again so that you can have it right in the transcription. Caravan Area Council rates and taxes, part 3, file number LM9/166/02 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG9.
Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
This is from Caravan Area Council, a letter claiming for royalty from Senegambia Bridge.
No. Further.
Huh?
Further. Where the flag is.
Okay. This is a letter reference KAC/ADM/36/05 in bracket 455, addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, heading demand note.
And the folio number?
Folio number 12.
And it is in respect of payment of rates being arrears for 2021 and 2022.
Exactly.
And it is for about $4 million is odd, correct?
Altogether, yes.
Thank you. Please identify the file that has been shown to you.
The file is Kuntaur Area Council Rates and Taxes. The file number is LM9/166/04 Part 2.
And it is one of your ministry's files, correct?
Exactly.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The Kuntaur Area Council Rates and Taxes file marked as LM9/166/04 Part 2 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 10.
Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
This is a letter of demand note from Kuntaur Area Council, reference KTRAC/CEO/2022/0010, dated 11th April 2022. Addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, UFS, through the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands.
And the folio number?
Folio number 21.
The amount being claimed as rates due is?
It's about 1.5.
1.5 million odd. Thank you. Please identify the file that has been shown to you.
The file is the Brikama Area Council rates. And the file number is LM9/166/01 Part 2.
And it is one of your ministry's files.
Exactly.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The Brikama Area Council rates file with file number LM9/166/01 Part 2 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 11.
Please identify the document that was shown to you.
It's a document later addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, through the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, with reference number BAC/258/D, folio number 10, request for the payment of current government rate and arrears.
And the arrears and current rate being demanded amounts to about $8.4 million, is correct?
Exactly.
And this is as at March 2023.
March 2023, yes.
Thank you. Are you in a position to obtain confirmation of what rates have been paid by the Ministry of Finance in respect of all these files?
Yes, we can request from the Ministry of Finance. In fact, I've noted it down.
Thank you. If you, or when you get such confirmation, can you provide it to the Commission?
Exactly.
I'm grateful. Could you also tell us what the relationship between the Alkalos and the area councils are in respect of rates collection?
The Alkalos do collect rate on behalf of the councils and put them together and then pay it to either the revenue through the revenue collectors at station within the area, or they deposit it at they pay it at the council itself.
Okay. Why would the Alkalo collect rates on behalf of the councils? Would this not be something that the revenue collectors are responsible for?
Yes, revenue collectors can do, but then the Alkalo being the custodian of the village and knowing the compound owners, I think it is in that spirit that the Alkalos are used to do that collection at the village level.
Very well. Are they compensated for carrying out these functions?
Yes, the councils paid at least, I think, if I can remember, it's about 10% of what they have collected to them as compensation.
And who authorized the payment of this 10% to the Alkalos?
As per I'm not very sure here, but then I think this has been a normal practice. I don't know whether it's provided for in the Act, but then it has been a normal practice between the councils and the Alkalos. And
the ministry has been okay with this arrangement?
Because it works well for council and they have no problem.
Okay. And does the fact that the Alkalos collect on behalf of the council have anything to do with perhaps the inefficiency or otherwise of revenue collectors?
I would say first it is inadequacy of the revenue collectors. They have not been enough to be present in every village, and as such it also goes down to sometimes some revenue collectors having issues in not lodging these revenues to the council. This has been a historic occurrence of some revenue collectors.
Okay. Are you aware, or is it a requirement for councils to seek approval from your ministry to enter into contracts or memorandum of understanding or other types of agreements?
Yes.
Which ones, or all of them?
All the councils are required to, when they are entering into such financial commitments, they should seek the approval, which will require them the process to go through legal advice as well as partnership agreement advice, so that the best interest of council is protected.
Thank you. Are they also required to seek approval when purchasing shares in private companies or in setting up new companies?
Exactly.
They are?
Yes.
Do you have a file where these would be recorded?
I suppose there should be a file at the office which should indicate some of these things, yes.
Let me just assist you. There's a contracts and agreements area council's file.
Yes.
Okay. Is that the file?
Yes, this is the contract agreement for area councils.
And it is one of your ministry's files?
Exactly.
Could you please identify the file?
Yes, the file number is LM3/9/01.
Chairperson, I applied to tender the file that has been identified by the witness.
The contracts and agreements, area councils file with file number LM3/9/01 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 12.
Mr. Sanyang, apart from seeking legal advice prior to the approval of and approving these agreements and loans or contracts, is the ministry otherwise involved in the arrangements about the contracts? As in, do you have any more involvement in the contracts? Do you just seek advice and approve or disapprove, or do you do more?
Yeah, we as far as I know, when the contracts come, requests come, we will check on it, and then we will advise for the minister's approval.
Okay. And what happens where one of the councils has, for some reason, breached one of these agreements and becomes liable to make payments to the other party? Does the ministry get involved in such instances?
Yes, when the matter is brought to our attention.
Does the ministry bail out the councils, pay monies on behalf of the councils?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, the letter that has just been shown to you is from KMC.
Yes.
Could you give us the reference number, please?
The reference is in the matter of Suk Singate and Chosan Company.
And in that letter, KMC is referring to a failed memorandum of understanding between the council and Sukusingate and Chosan Company. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they are requesting that the government step in to compensate the other party. What do you know about that issue?
Yeah, this is about land.
Okay.
It's a land that was entered into agreement with Suku. And following the agreement, the council also entered into another agreement with Nando's to develop the same land. And as such, Suku claimed from the area council, and the area council now pleaded to government within the same area. There is another portion of land where government can avail them that land to compensate because they have breached a contract from Suku Singate.
Why exactly were they not able to provide the land to Suku Singate?
The land at the time, I don't know all the details, but then I think there were some agreements between them where either Suku could not fulfill all the agreement on time, and then the council also did not follow the due process, so there was a termination of the contract and then the awarding of the contract to another person.
And is this in respect of land that was allocated by your ministry to the area council, to Kanifing Municipal Council?
Yes.
So why was the ministry required to provide alternative land?
Yeah, because in a situation where an allocation and a complication is made to the council and it's going to be a cost to the council when the matter goes to the court, the government can step in by providing, in such cases when land is available, to bail out in provision of alternative land to the people affected.
But would this not be in a situation where the conflict was caused by the ministry? Perhaps the ministry allocated the same land to more than one person. Or would it be where, even if the ministry had no involvement in that situation, you would still provide alternative land?
It depends. We will not always provide alternative land. It depends on the circumstance that is at play. Where the party involved is seen to be affected by their own decision, and they pleaded to the central government to come to their aid. This will be put to the minister based on the need, and then it will be recommended for central government to bail them out instead of the matter going to the court for the council to go through that process.
And do you remember whether alternative land was provided by your ministry in this case?
Yeah, in this case, I think there was a request. I cannot remember the site itself, but there was a compensation recommended.
Very well. Would you have details of the recommended compensation? I don't believe it's in that file.
Exactly.
You would have these details?
Yes.
Could you provide it to the commission? Yes, Chairperson.
May I intervene here? I want a clarification from the witness.
Very well.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Sanyang, I want you to clarify on this issue because I'm not very clear as to what you've stated with respect to the contract between the parties, as you mentioned in that letter. My question is, being in a supervisory role, I presume that you were aware of the back and forth of this contract. And at what point did the KMC come in to request for you to compensate the other party? So I want you to elaborate and clarify those issues. Given the fact that you are the supervisor for the councils, and I am of the view that you might have been aware of the details of these contracts.
Yes, as far as I'm aware and the information I get, the ministry was not involved in the arrangement. However, the council falls under the purview of the ministry. On a situation where a problem comes in, where the ministry can step in and then help, the ministry will consider that. But then, as far as I'm aware, this particular arrangement was not spearheaded by the ministry or the participation of the ministry, but the council agreed with this party independently. But then there was at a point, a time that the contractor was supposed to deliver certain things which were not, and the council also was supposed to do certain things by following the due process to terminate. I think that was not also followed clearly. So, and the matter was to go to court. Then they appealed to the ministry. The council appealed to the ministry for a side close by to be compensated to Mr. Singate.
Thank you. Ms. Cox, you can proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Sanyang, please refer to folio 40 of that file. 40.
40, okay. Right.
Now, Janjambure is a letter from Janjambure Area Council, correct?
Yes.
And by that letter, the council is writing to your ministry informing you of its intention to enter into a partnership agreement with Reliance Financial Services to build stores and a guest house in Bansan.
Exactly.
Now, after that, your ministry wrote back to request a draft partnership agreement.
Exactly.
Do you know if the agreement was ever sent or what happened to that project?
Yeah, if I could remember this particular case, we requested Janjambure to provide us with the agreement, as I said earlier, so that we can submit it to the due process. But I cannot remember the submission of the agreement.
Do you know how the council came to select Reliance Financial Services as its partner for that project?
That would have been informed by their submission. We will come to know why they are partnering with Reliance Finance so that we can advise.
Very well. And folio 42?
Yes. 42.
Yes. And that document is from Basse Area Council?
Yes, I've seen it.
And I believe it contains 2 letters dated the same date.
Yes.
And the council is seeking approval to partner with Reliance Financial Services to develop empty lands.
Yes.
In the first letter, it is seeking approval to be a guarantor for Basse Ward to obtain a loan facility from Reliance Services for the construction of the guest house in Basse Mansajan.
Exactly.
Do you know if approval was given for any of these?
No. This came in November. I'm not aware of this. I don't think this approval was given, even though it doesn't, like from the minute, it doesn't find me in the office. But then I know the approval was not given, as far as I'm aware.
For the loan or for the, what was the other one? For the partnership agreement?
I think both, because the partnership agreement will lead to the loan. It has to start with the partnership agreement. When that is approved, then the loan will come in.
And is it usual for the area council to be a guarantor for its wards in respect of their agreements? Because for this, they're requesting approval to be a guarantor for Basse Ward. It is not a case where it's the area council itself taking out a loan.
The ward, every ward develops what we call ward development plans. And these ward development plans, they submit it to council, and council will fund part of it, and the other parts will be there for subject to other engagements to have them develop. One of which could be a soft loan through a body that, but they cannot deal with the body without their parent body, that is the council. If the council feel that they can handle this in the event of default, they will be able to pay. They can support them for those important projects, because those projects cannot be handled by council itself, and they were supposed to be handled by them, by the nature of the council budgeting.
I'm not sure I follow completely. When you say the council is able to offer support, are you saying that the council is able to take the loan on behalf of the ward, or, as in this case, be a guarantor for the ward?
No. In this case, the project that they intend to execute is a revenue-generating project. As such, council will look at the revenue potential of that project, and then council will guarantee that in the event the project could not pay back, then they will step in. That is the guarantor that they are requesting. Council will only serve in that capacity, not to pay from council fund, but in the event that the project cannot pay, then council will step in. But before then, council would have looked at the revenue potential of that kind of investment, and then conclude that it is having a business that can actually pay this kind of a loan.
Very well. But in such an instance, considering that the ward is under the council and the project is, as much as it is being carried out by the ward, it is for the council, is it not proper for the council to be the one providing the funds and taking the loan?
I don't think so. I believe this is the ward development. As I said earlier, the ward development developed what we call the ward development plan, and out of this ward development plan, maybe if they have 25 activities or projects that they wanted to implement within their ward, these projects will compete with submission from other wards. Then the council will pick priority projects and then implement them. They might be lucky to have maybe 10 out of the lot that they have presented to be taken up by council. Then the other 10 to 15 is coming from the communities. So they have to now find a way to be able to intervene in those areas, because now, if not, it's going to be like some communities might think that the ward is developing their community and leaving the other communities. So they will also try to look for partnership with people. So if there is a loan and this particular project that they are implementing is a revenue generating project, council assessing that project in terms of its revenue potentiality can guarantee, but not to take the loan themselves.
Thank you. Now, what do you understand by the term guarantee used in this particular context?
That is to stand for in default.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please refer to folio 32.
Come again?
Folio 32 of that file.
32. Yes.
This is a request for approval from Basse Area Council. It's from Basse Area Council.
Brikama.
It's from Brikama? Wow, okay.
33-2.
3-2.
Yeah, the one I have here is Brikama.
Could you tell me what that document is about?
The document is request for approval to enter into asset financing agreement with Vista Bank, Gambia government, formerly First International Bank.
Do you know if approval for that was ever given?
No, because this, I remember I discussed this with the minister, and then I don't think this was granted.
It was
because of the interest rate. I think that was, we flagged the interest rate at the time, if I could remember well. The interest was 15% interest.
Is it that area councils get a concession on interest rates from the commercial banks?
No, not necessarily. But then area councils must also look at their revenue base and then go for something that has a reasonable interest rate.
And that the funds that they required was to purchase vehicles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, utility vehicles.
Are those not items that they would ordinarily put in their budget to purchase as needed, rather than obtain loans to purchase?
Yeah, ordinarily they will do that.
Is it usual for area councils to take loans to purchase vehicles?
It can be possible, provided that they don't have cars at that time, because councils' revenue are also seasonal. If they cannot have revenue, they can request at a time. It depends on a lot of things. One is they have to make it clear. When such requests come, we will request from the council, which revenue source do you intend to repay this from? We will want to know as a supervisory body, because we know the budget has been presented to us and we are previewed, we know the budget copy with us. We will request for them to provide us where they are paying this from, so that we know that they are not, this has either been budgeted or is outside the budget, but there is a source of funding that is coming where they intend to pay this from. So once that is qualified and we are satisfied with that, then we will recommend for them to go in for, if it is approved.
Thank you. As an aside, have there been instances where the ministry has approved any area council's application for authorization to purchase shares or incorporate a new company?
No, not to my knowledge. I remember there was an issue with this bus, is it the new bus service that was to come at Canifing, but it hasn't come for approval.
A company to purchase?
No, for bus company for transportation. That is public transportation.
Yes, it is what you're. Am I to understand that you're saying that there was an application for approval for a bus transport company from KMC?
No. We heard of it, and then we inquired from the council that we heard that this is what is going on, but then it has not formally come to us for any approval.
And did they respond?
No, this was just a call, because we were aware of it through the social media. We tried to find out, but at that time they said it was the news, but then they were not ready yet. They will come back to the ministry when the time comes.
Very well. Are you aware of a project that Basse Area Council has with Gamworks for construction of or reconstruction of the Basse main market?
Reconstruction of Basse?
Main market.
Whether I'm aware of Basse's?
Of an agreement between Basse Area Council and Gamworks for the construction of or reconstruction of Basse main market.
The agreement was between Gamworks and central government on behalf of area council, because that market was constructed 100% by government.
The market was what, 100% by government?
Yes.
It was built by government?
Yes.
Okay. At what stage in the entire process, this is coming back to KMC and the bus transport issues, at what point would they have been required to come to your ministry for approval in respect of the company?
Come again, I didn't hear that.
In respect of the bus transportation company, yes, with KMC, at what point in the whole process would they have been required to come to your ministry to seek approval? It would have been before they went ahead to set up a company, or at some point during setting up?
Yeah, I think whilst they have the concept, it should be from the beginning. The discussions to start from the beginning. You have a concept that you want to develop, then this can be a discussion or a presentation to the ministry to give how that company is going to look like and how it's going to benefit the people of KMC.
Thank you. Please refer to the document that's been shown to you. I believe it's folio 31.
Yes.
And it is a request for approval from Basse Area Council to enter into a PPP agreement with Supersonics to build, operate, and transfer a modern shopping center, offices, and staff quarters.
Yes.
Do you know if any approval was given for this?
No, we did send this request to the PPP unit as required, that is the public-private partnership unit, and also the Ministry of Justice for legal advice.
But no approval?
No approval, yes.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell us, is the local government, or are the local government councils' salaries for their staff, is it the same as central government integrated staff salaries? As in, is it the same scale?
Yeah, we use the same grades.
You use the same grades?
Yeah, and not all the councils, as for the admin staff. The admin staff, that is the CEO, council has two separate bodies. Mm-hmm. That is the council itself, what is called the council. That is the councillors under the deputy and the chairperson. That have a separate scale that is determined by the approval of the minister. Then the rest of the staff are paid according to the same scale, based on their cadre. They are paid on the same scale.
Same scale as central government? Exactly. So grade 11, grade 12 10. Would get the same?
Exactly.
All right, thank you. What do you know about the issue of, or the issues between Canifing Municipal Council and Basic Bank as regards trade license, or is it rates, payments?
Rate payments?
I believe it's rate payments. Rate or trade license? Let me just confirm for you. Trade license. Unpaid trade license.
I cannot remember that.
All right, let me just show you this. First of all, please identify that file.
Yes. Municipalities and area councils trade license. File number LM114/223/01.
And that is a file from the Ministry of Lands?
Exactly.
Madam Chairperson, I applied to tender the file that has been identified by the witness into evidence.
The Municipalities Area Council Trade License file with file number LM114/223/01 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LCG 13.
As the Commission pleases. Please identify the document that has been shown to you.
The document is from Cardiff Municipal Council. A request for intervention on paid trade lancing by Sahel Bank. That's basic, Gambia Limited.
And the reference number as well as the folio number.
Yeah, it has not been referenced. It has no reference number, but the folio is 94, addressed to the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs.
And in that letter, they're requesting assistance.
Request for an intervention.
Yes, for the non-payment by Basic Bank of trade license to their area council.
Exactly.
So that's what I was asking about. Do you know anything about that issue?
Yeah, this is addressed to the Minister of Finance.
But I believe you're copied in on it.
Yeah, we're copied in it. And then in the copy, we did write to notify the permanent, the CEO that such letters should be addressed to the permanent secretary of the ministry for action.
Which, your ministry?
No. The permanent secretary of the ministry through the permanent secretary to the permanent secretary of finance, if at all they want finance to work on it. But we were telling them that writing to the minister directly is what we are trying to flag. That is not the best practice because the minister is not the admin head of the ministry. The admin head of the ministry is the permanent secretary. That's what we were trying to flag on the letter. But even though it was not addressed to us directly, we were just copied in it.
Okay, but do you know whether this issue was one that was ever resolved?
No, not to my knowledge.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I believe this is a convenient point to break for lunch.
Well, I think we still have some few minutes. I'll ask the commissioners if they have questions for the witness to proceed and do so before we break for lunch.
Very well.
I may want to ask few questions before we break. Mr. Sanyang,
Yes.
It is correct that you are aware of the budgets of the different councils.
Yes.
Do you participate in the preparation of these budgets?
No.
And how do you have any knowledge as to what sort of procedures they use in the preparation of their various budgets?
We know that the budgets should be prepared from a consultation with the decentralized structures. That is, the budget for especially development should be prepared from a village development plan that will be submitted to the ward, and the ward will submit it to the council, and council will use this to incorporate into the budget. That is the procedure recommended for the preparation of their budget, yearly budget, in terms of their development. But the other expenditure is just like the government central budget system, where they will come with their activities, that is routine activities, and also the budget for their manpower, that is the staff at the council.
Is it also, what I want to know is whether when these budgets are submitted to your ministry, do you sit as a committee, or you as the supervisor to these municipalities just go through the budget and then approve, or there is a process that you adopt at the level of the ministry to look at this budget and okay it?
Yes, as required. Budgets are approved at council but endorsed by the minister. And the endorsement is what the ad hoc committee set up at the level of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, where council themselves are represented. And equally, the ministry, together with Ministry of Finance, GRA, the ad hoc committee, sits over this budget. And of recent, what we also do is each committee, each council, we will incorporate, bring in their committee, that is finance committee, member from their finance committee, at the councillors at the policy level, so that they will understand how these things are being talked about. And they really appreciate, because they don't know about budgeting. They argue at their chambers, but they don't know the process. So exposing them to that has added value. So we'll bring them up to observe, to be part of the process, to understand how this thing is being looked into by the council representative, the Ministry of Lands, and whatever we observe is being discussed with them, and based on those rectifications or adjustments, after it has gone back to council, this will be incorporated, and then the budget will be tabled again at the council for approval. So once the budget is prepared by the CEO and the team, the budget will be first presented to council for the first endorsement. Council will endorse it, and then they will send the draft of that endorsement to the minister for this process that I explained earlier. Once that process is concluded and the suggested adjustments are made, the council will go and then do these adjustments, and then this adjustment together will be sent back for minister's endorsement. Once the minister endorses, knowing that what have been observed have been incorporated, it will be sent back to council for the general council to sit and then now approve the budget. That is the process.
Thank you, Piers. I think one of the commissioners have some questions. Let me allow him to proceed.
Just a point of clarification. You are talking about endorsement and approval. I think for me, these are two different things. You are saying the council approves, but government endorses. Where government doesn't endorse, then what happens?
It must have a reason.
No, I mean when they don't approve, when they don't endorse it, but approval has already been given by the council for the budget to be approved.
No,
now
no.
you are saying, if I get you right.
Now if the council at mid-level, that is the CEO, prepare the budget, it is submitted to the General Council. And the General Council will debate over it until they agree. They endorse it as a draft. That is a draft stage. This draft is what is submitted to the minister for his endorsement. Then once this draft is sent to the minister for his endorsement, the minister can endorse it in totality based on its submission or with observations. And these observations will go back to the council. And once that adjustments are done, and then now it is no more in a draft form, it is sent back to the minister for his endorsement. That is now he is going to say, it has come to me, I have observed A, and then all is done, now I'm endorsing it for your approval. Now when the minister endorses it, it goes back to the council for their approval.
Thank you.
I believe it's a convenient point to stop. We are supposed to stop at 1:30 for lunch. We will rise for lunch and reconvene at 2:30. At 2:30, or may I just consult Mr. We are going to rise and we will reconvene at 2:30 after lunch. Thank you.